And welcome back to the Spoiler Kings, guys. We're going to talk about House of the Dragon. What did you guys think about this last episode?
Very good.
Yeah, well, I liked it. If I can see, because I don't know if it was just me, because I'm like, why does it look like shit? And I was like, and then I looked online and people were like, yeah, it was dark. I was like, so they didn't learn their lesson. They didn't learn their lesson from last year. Besides that, it was a fun episode. I liked it.
It's a good thing I watched it in the early hours of this morning with all the lights in my place out. Maybe that helped me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was hard to watch sometimes. Like, not like physically, you couldn't see anything. Like once the sun like went behind the clouds or the castle or whatever, like it got really dark. Yeah. Like I was like, what the hell? I thought it was my TV for a bit.
Mm-hmm. I felt like it was hard for me to watch in different reasons. Because like all the stuff that was going on, I was like, man, this is bad. I'm one of those guys like when you get to like one of those embarrassing parts of a movie, I pause it. My wife hates it, so I do it all the time. And I was sitting there watching, I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Am I the only one thinking about this? So it was full of wow moments, full of just things that we thought were coming, that we knew were coming. And then it finally hit us, and we were like, "This is crazy."
Oh man, even though we talked about that last week, a lot of stuff in it, especially the last 15, 20 minutes, really blindsided me.
Dude, no pun intended. Even the end of it was so crazy. I was like, "Wow, this is not what." Like we were talking this whole episode, I'm thinking it's gonna go one way, and at the end it was like, no, we're going over here." It's like, I'm all for it.
Yeah. It was intense. I think at some point this was probably my favorite episode so far.
Agree.
Because well, I don't know if it's really spoilers, but they're at a funeral, and it was so, like you said, it was like hard to watch because everyone was just so angry at each other, or they their secrets that you can't talk about, and it was just very like not cringy, but like uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable as a viewer.
You're very uncomfortable. You're very anxious to see what happens next. Everything was, the tension was really like brought up to a fever pitch.
Yeah, it's like you saw the lines being drawn, the battle lines being drawn, and it was like, whoa! Like we saw it the last couple of weeks, but during that funeral, everything was apparent. There's two different sides, and I love Damon's expression, man. He just kind of is watching the world burn around him. He's just so cool. I love that.
He looked so satisfied in a way.
I mean, he just lost his wife, and he's just like, I'm Damon.
Yeah. He's like, shit happens. That's what I felt like. He was like, I don't know. But I think I liked Matt Smith, Damon in this episode. One of the better ones. I like what he did because he was just so chill and in the background, and even like when shit went down towards the end of the episode, and Christian, whoever the fuck the guy's dickhead. I hate him now too.
Yeah, so Christian.
Yeah, he went in to like bring up the fight, and he's like, oh no.
He said, "You back up because you don't want it with me."
Yeah, he's like, you let them do what they're gonna do. So I was kind of like I don't know. It was tense the entire time until the end scene where the king is yelling at everybody. And it was just like, fuck. It was
What's the redheaded woman's name again? It keeps slipping my mind.
Oh, Alicent?
Alicent.
Queen?
Alicent, yeah. She was pissing me off the last 15 minutes of the show.
Last two episodes, man. Alicent's been terrible.
It got to where I started yelling at the screen near the end of the episode. Like I was just yelling at characters, just yelling.
You guys see the Will Smith meme with her, where she was like, when she was talking about a look at Damon's children and how black they are, and she's like looking at Rhaenyra's children. She's like, they're not your kids. It's not his kids. That's Lenore's. That is not Lenore's kids. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I think that was the best part. Was like when Aegon was asked, like, where'd you hear these lies? He's like, everyone knows it. What are you talking about? He's like, I didn't hear it from one person. Everybody's saying it. And I think Varys was like, what the fuck?
and Allison too. And they weren't going to say, my mom. They weren't going to put her out there because she's just talking about most. I think that's.
Wait, I think your audio. I don't know if it's me or your audio kind of like cup. It like.
Oh, I heard that too.
Yeah, right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it sounds like a hiss, and then it like.
Hey.
Yeah.
It's Feige knowing I'm going to talk about other stuff, but I think it's Allison that was saying all these things and spreading it is more than anyone. And because she's queen and she's saying these things, she has so much power to go behind it. And I think that's what's really spreading all these things are happening. Mm-hmm. All right. So what did you guys like? What are the most important things that you liked in this episode?
Like I said, the tension of it all and the things that the rising tensions between all of these characters, all the different houses. That was really cool. We had talked about that last week. It was only a matter of time before something like this happened, and it's really going to escalate. Just looking at the way this episode ended, I feel like that paves the way for a lot more escalation next week. I liked how they incorporated the dragon near the end. That was pretty cool.
Dude, that was the most powerful part.
That's the most powerful part, yeah.
It shifted the power. Like before, the power was on one side and one side only. We knew that. Mm-hmm. But after that, you start seeing the shift. Like, okay, now that we have the biggest and baddest dragon is on the other side. Allison now has control of the biggest and baddest dragon.
Yeah. Which Otto Hightower, obviously he's back, which is annoying. That's what he was like. He's like, oh, your son is right. What he's got is worth 1,000 more what he lost. I was like, yeah. But also I was like a little annoyed at the end. So I was like, they're bitching and moaning about who started the fight. Meanwhile, I forgot what the head Valerian guy, I forgot what his name is. Corlys. He's like, hey, you're taking my freaking dragon. Like, that's not yours to take. That's gonna be my granddaughter's. And I was like, no one was talking about that. Like, hey, your little bastard, dickhead son stole, my daughter's dragon
because he's the king's son.
I guess, but I mean, Varys is such a pushover. You'd be like, hey, no.
I'm surprised he didn't say at my daughter's funeral, your son threatened my daughters with a rock at my house. In my house,
yeah.
No one talked about that. Yeah. He did that. I was like,
yeah, I'm like, he should be more mad. It's like he threatened my granddaughters. He stole my daughter's dragon, who belongs to her daughter. Which is, also half Targaryen. So it's just like, I just felt like he was very quiet in it all. Especially in his own house. On top of that,
I think he also because he blamed himself. He was blamed because his wife was blaming him, and he was blaming himself for putting them in that situation. Because he could have saved Lenore at least. Lena was going to do what she was going to do regardless.
Yeah, yeah.
But Lenore, he could have saved him. He knew which way he was. He knew what was going on. Everyone knew what was going on. That's enough. None of these secrets are secrets.
Yeah.
Everyone knows exactly what's going on, but everyone's afraid to say it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I think the thing I liked the most about this was you're starting to see how these groups are forming. You starting to understand, like Daemon is with Lena, Rhaenyra was with Lenore. Now that Lenore and Lena are dead, or one's dead and the other one, catch me if you can. And they did what he's going to do, but now they're together. But they also now have the Valerians behind them. I mean, they have everything. They should be the strongest one. But Allison is playing the game. I mean, obviously, she went from that naive girl that's just doing her part to now being a powerful, queen.
Bitch.
Well, she's a queen. She can do whatever the hell she wants because her husband is like on his deathbed. He's been dying for like 15 years. I don't understand how he's still alive. He had like four hair. It's terrible. Matt Smith looks exactly the same. Damon looks exactly the same. Viserys looks like he's about to die at any point. He looks like the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah.
We should do a side by side of him and the Crypt Keeper. He looks exactly like him.
Yeah.
Just with the crown.
He's looking rough, very rough.
I was like, what is going on?
Yeah. That's funny.
That's what I found like the most interesting. And even the whole thing with Daemon and Rhaenyra, like, she's saying I'm not a child anymore and all that stuff. But even that wedding part was really cool looking. Is it bad that I said that? But it's really cool looking. The old ways when they're cutting and they're sharing the blood and all that stuff. It was crazy. I would love to know what Viserys thinks about his daughter and his brother, Marion, without asking him. But he's probably gonna be dead before we find out. So.
Very true. Yeah. I don't know. I actually forgot. I thought I saw a coffin. I'm like, oh my god, is he dead now? Yeah, but not yet. I forgot whose funeral was.
Yeah.
But it's. I think the thing that's interesting is bringing back Otto Hightower as the hand, because he's going to be able to speak for the king if he's unable to speak.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be crazy, because now he's basically the king, and like he's the mouthpiece of the king, so he could say things even though the king is not saying it, because the king can't even comment on it. So he's going to be in the most powerful position, in all the kingdom. Yeah.
It's like last week's episode irritated me because I'm like, oh, it's just more Game of Thrones shit, and this one though, I'm like, okay, I forgot I did like that shit. And I was like, because like that's what, like last week it was like, oh, we're doing Game of Thrones backstabbing, like, and all this like crazy shit, and then this week they kind of continued with it, but then you kind of remember like, oh yeah, I forgot that I did like that stuff. So but
what are the things about this episode that you guys did not like though?
I've said it many times, and even though I'm used to it at this point, and this doesn't necessarily go for just the episode, just as a whole, the time jumps are just very, very jarring to me. I think they're relying a little too much on it for the narrative, for the overall narrative of the show, because it's happening, it's happening quite often, and sometimes it's kind of hard to follow. They just kind of jump into it without saying where exactly they are, and sometimes it's kind of easy to kind of lose track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people complain about the Alicent and the new Alicent, or the Rhaenyra and the new Rhaenyra, and and then why is Daemon look exactly the same? None of this stuff makes sense, but it does to us because we understand what they're doing. I've heard a lot of people complain about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'd say that's my biggest. I think sometimes some of the scene, like the scene with the conflict between the families with Alicent, and that kind of drug on a little too long for me.
Really?
To the point where it kind of got frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were just basically idling by and giving her these opportunities to get all out of pocket, and it really started to just grind on my nerves.
But who was going to say anything? Because she's queen.
That's true.
The only one that could say it was Viserys. Viserys is the only one that could have said anything, because even it was pretty obvious after Rhaenyra had a baby, and Alicent could say, "Bring me the baby now."
Mm-hmm.
I'm next to the throne, but she's queen right now. So she outranks her today.
Yeah, which I think that was the part I didn't like. I guess that's more last week's episode, but that part where like she outranks her today, but she kind of like forcing her son. She's like, "Oh, you have to become king because I effed this up so much that your sister aunt hates me." You know what I mean? Like, so it's
And Allison doesn't see herself as messing stuff up. She doesn't even see it. She
She's
thinks
like the
it's
good
everybody
guy.
else. She's pointing to everybody else. Like, I'm like, dude, you could just say okay and it'd been fine. Everything would have been fine. How about you been silent and everything would have been fine? Renee would have had you on her side. She would have had a friend and whatever. She just was jealous. That's what I think it comes to. She was just jealous. Oh, I have to sleep with this old man. You get to sleep with whoever you want. What about your sense of duty? Ain't about your sense of duty. It's the fact that I have to deal with this old man for 20 years and you just doing whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm trying to think of other bad things besides the lighting in the first half of the episode. There really wasn't too much other bad things.
I had one thing. Lenore is a black guy, right? Then how come when he pulled the dude out of the fire, they didn't even check to see what skin color he was? Because they didn't have this a random black dude just randomly on the side. Like, he's not in the castle. Where did they find this guy? He's just threw a body. Like, it's like, why is your mom screaming? It's like, did you look? Like, his whole body wasn't in the fire. It just, like, no one checked. It didn't make any sense to me. Like, nobody checked the body. Like, it's like, all right, why are you screaming? Just assuming that's what happened. No one was there.
Yeah.
How about we figure out exactly what happened? Who did this? What's going on?
Yeah. I wonder if that's going to come back and bite Rhaenyra, whatever her name is. I think that's going to come back and bite her in the butt. You know, because she's going to be, you know, accusation number one. Like, oh, you did it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have his sons, and now you killed him so you can go marry your uncle.
Well,
you
see,
know, like,
the thing is, they saw him fighting with his guy.
Yeah.
So they saw them fighting, and that's why everything kind of went that way. But
yeah,
I still think, what if they find him? What if he decides to come back? What if Rhaenyra wins the whole thing, the whole civil war, because she has Daemon with her? Because her and Daemon are the same guy, same person. So they're just a firework waiting to go off. What if they win, and then Laenor comes back, or that someone finds Laenor? And what happens then?
Yeah. That's a season 3 issue, I think. It was like yeah.
Well, with these time jumps, it could be next week. I don't know.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I'm kind of counting on it to be next week.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of that, what do you think is going to happen next?
Well, the inevitable time jump will happen.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think the series has any more time jumps in them.
Yeah. And what's his face is going to be like an adult badass with like an eye patch or something, like covering his eye.
Yeah. That's a good call. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far the next inevitable time jump's going to be.
I think 3-4 years. In 3-4 years, all those kids would no longer be kids. They would be preteens to adults.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. I can see like, yeah, so 3 to 5 years, because then by then they can have a kid, you know, so you have like a little toddler running around, you know, with blonde, white hair, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Andy said the time jumps are pretty jarring. Do they plan to have more than one season? They're going to need a completely new set of characters at this rate.
Yeah, and you know, you got to kind of ask yourself where exactly season 2 is going to take place and how many time jumps they're going to have there. It just seems really narratively over reliant on the time jumps.
I think the time jumps stop when the king dies.
Yeah, I think we might be. I think after the next episode we should be done with time jumps. I don't see them doing too many more, if at all. They might not even do any more. You know,
the only thing that's relying on these time jumps is really the king and having an heir, and knowing that these kids are going to grow up, and then they're going to be fighting for these positions. So that's what the time jumps are for, because Viserys is not dead; he just hasn't died. So once he's died, I don't see a need for the time jumps anymore. because now the kids, everyone's going to be grown, everyone's going to be fighting for the throne, and this is not going to be something that's going to last for 5 years. This is going to be something that happens, quickly. Now, I think, and that's why I really think what's going to happen for the next episode, that all these two sides are going to be getting ready for the Civil War. They're getting ready. There's two sides. You can see exactly who the two sides are, and they're going to be trying to gather people to be on their side. And they're gathering dragons. They're teaching their kids. They are preparing for war.
Oh yeah, the way, especially the way things ended on this one, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you have Rhaenyra, whatever. I don't know. I still don't know their fucking name. Rhaenyra. The way she was talking at the end was like, "Oh, we gotta cut this. I don't want to say B word, but yeah, I think she knows. She knows. Okay, she's like, all right, she's not my friend anymore. Because at the beginning of the episode, she's like, oh, Alicent isn't that evil to have people killed. I think now she's like, oh no, F her. Like
she's gonna do whatever it takes. I mean, she cut him. I can't believe she cut her in front of her dad, and no one did anything. No one knew what to do.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
That's the part where I was yelling at the screen. Like,
I wanted someone to punch Sir Kristen. I was like, punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. He has such a punchable face to me. I don't know what it is. I could have been back there with a blonde wig. I would punch him in the face. Like, who is this guy? I'm the guy who punches people in the face.
Yeah, I'm not fond on Sir Kristen. He's
Yeah, he went from likable to like time skip, and I'm like, oh, you suck. Yeah, they're just sitting there both saying like, oh yeah, she sucks. Yeah, she sucks. Like there's like a little like.
It's like a high school thing. Like the guy that dated her in 8th grade is mad still in high school.
They're in college now.
Okay. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, Rhaenyra is not my favorite person either, because she's just a whore. Is that okay to say? Like, she just whatever her pleasure is that day, that's what she goes with, and that's what it kind of seems like.
I don't know. I mean, she was with what's his name? She's the father, or the other guy was the father of her 3 kids. So,
that's true.
I mean, I don't know.
She went to the next person that was easy to sleep with. You're right.
Yeah, like I went him.
But what I did find really interesting, I know we kind of went over time, was that Rhaenyra still had a lot of respect for Laenor. Like a lot of respect. It was like she liked him. She genuinely liked him. He's not the thing for her, but she shared her life to this point, and she just enjoyed. I thought they killed him off. Just get to the end. I thought that she killed him, and she was that cold blooded. And then when I saw him at the end, that they really just let him go and live his own life, I was like, okay, I could be a Rhaenyra fan again. And Daemon's cold, but he still let him go do his own thing. So, and gave him gold and said, go be you. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. And that's why I don't think he's gonna come back and screw her up. I think
someone,
so.
But if someone sees him, that's
probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys got for this one?
No.
I think that's about it. I'm still processing this episode because like usual, I watched and rewatched it.
Yeah.
I watched it, and then I seen him with the scar across his eye. That was pretty badass. Alicent, the fact that she sliced Rhaenyra, and what I loved is that when Rhaenyra got sliced on her arm, and the blood's running down, it's like she enjoys. She has no problem with the physical contact. She is just that twisted. She's just like Daemon.
But also I think it was like it proved her point. Like, oh, everyone, look at the blood. This is on her. Yeah. It's like she even said, like, now they're gonna see you for who you are. Like you're not. What she said? You're not behind this veil of justice or whatever the hell she said. Which I love that line she told her.
She cold. There you go. I hope the king is around to the 3rd season. We've been killing him off every episode for like the last 5 episodes. Every episode, like, he's dead. He can't live again. Yeah. He's gonna have like one. I'm telling you, he's gonna have one hair. He's gonna look like the Crypt Keeper, and somehow he's still gonna be alive. He ain't gonna be able to talk. Like, and the hands gonna say, Otto's gonna be like, he said, Alicent is now queen.
There you go. This is. That's gonna be him. There you go. I think I saw a meme where they made him like with the blonde hair.
If you
and the crown.
he should put blonde hair on it. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
So now I'm rooting for him. Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, this is great. I'm glad we talked about this stuff. I want to hear what everyone else thinks. I want to hear if you guys have different ideas than we think. Think that things too much. Maybe you want Allison to win. Maybe you like her. Maybe you like her little crony that she's going to keep on paying and giving more power to. Yeah. Maybe he's going to be the new hand.
There you go.
There it is. That is great. But I just want to hear everyone's comment. If you guys watching the video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe and comment. I want to hear you guys. I want to hear what everyone thinks about it. The more comment to keep the conversation going, I think it makes it even better.